Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Detroit Lions fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. Let me tell you, there's a buzz around the NFL that could have huge implications for the Detroit Lions and their quest for Super Bowl glory. And it all centers on a potential blockbuster move involving none other than Cameron Heyward, the veteran star defensive tackle of the Pittsburgh Steelers. This isn't just some rumor floating around. It's a real possibility that could reshape the defensive landscape in the NFC North and beyond. You see, Heyward, who's been a cornerstone of the Steelers' defense for years, is currently embroiled in some contract negotiations that might lead to a seismic shift. And this shift could very well involve the Lions. Let's back up a bit and understand the context here. Cameron Heyward, at this stage of his career, remains one of the most disruptive forces on the defensive line. Last season alone, he registered 71 total tackles and added 8 sacks to his impressive resume. Despite being in the league for quite some time, his production hasn't slowed down. He's a 7-time Pro Bowler and a 4-time first-team All-Pro, which speaks volumes about his consistency and elite level of play. Now, he's 35, but age hasn't diminished his ability to impact games. In fact, the Steelers see him as a vital piece, especially in a division as competitive as the AFC North, which is stacked with talented quarterbacks and dynamic offenses. But here's where things get interesting. Heyward is scheduled to make $14.75 million this season, which places him as the 36th highest-paid defensive lineman in the NFL and the 18th highest among defensive tackles. Given his level of play, it's fair to say that he's underpaid compared to the market. The market for top-tier defensive tackles has exploded in recent years, with contracts reflecting their importance in disrupting offenses. Heyward, despite his age, has shown he can still hold his own against the league's best. So naturally, he's seeking a new deal that better reflects his contributions. And that's where the potential for a trade comes into play. Now, I want to be clear, nothing is imminent yet. Heyward hasn't asked to leave Pittsburgh outright, but the contract stalemate could force Pittsburgh's hand. If negotiations continue to stall, the Steelers might be tempted to explore the trade market. And why not? They could get valuable assets in return for a player of Heyward's caliber. Teams would be lining up for the chance to add such a disruptive force to their defensive front. The Steelers might not want to move him, especially since he's been a leader and a cornerstone of their defense for so many years. But sometimes circumstances push teams to make tough decisions. Now, imagine if the Lions could make a move here. It's not far-fetched. Detroit has been building its roster with a clear focus on winning now. They've already made significant investments in the trenches, with Aiden Hutchinson anchoring their pass rush. Adding someone like Heyward to that mix would be a game-changer. Think about the implications. Opposing offenses would have to dedicate extra resources to block him, which could free up Hutchinson and other pass rushers to get after the quarterback more consistently. It would elevate Detroit's entire defensive unit, making them even more formidable. The Lions have shown a willingness to make aggressive moves to improve their roster. From free agency signings to draft picks, they're all in on the idea of competing at the highest level. Bringing in Heyward would be another step in that direction. He's a player who can provide leadership, experience, and that extra edge of toughness that Detroit's defense is striving for. His presence could also have a ripple effect, elevating the play of younger players and making the entire unit more cohesive and aggressive. And let's not forget the bigger picture. Detroit's ultimate goal is to bring a Lombardi Trophy to the Motor City. They're building a team that can contend for years to come, and a move like this could be the missing piece. Heyward's ability to disrupt the opponent's offensive line, clog running lanes, and pressure the quarterback is exactly what Detroit needs to take their defense to the next level. Especially in a division where teams like the Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers, and Chicago Bears are also investing heavily in their rosters. Every edge counts. Of course, there are questions about whether Pittsburgh would be willing to part ways with Heyward. At this stage of his career, the Steelers might be hesitant to trade such a pivotal player, especially if they believe they can resolve the contract issues. But if negotiations continue to stall, they might see a trade as a way to recoup value and retool their roster. And the Lions, with their cap space and draft capital, could be an ideal landing spot for Heyward, who is still playing at a high level and wants to chase a Super Bowl ring. The NFC North, meanwhile, is watching all of this unfold with keen interest. The division has become more competitive each year, with Detroit emerging as a true contender. Adding a player like Heyward would send a message that the Lions are willing to go all in on winning now. It's a bold move, no doubt, but one that could pay off immensely if it materializes. Imagine the Detroit defensive line with Hutchinson, Heyward, and maybe even some younger talents emerging alongside them. That's a formidable front that could dominate games, control the line of scrimmage, and make life difficult for offenses. Now I want to pause here for a second. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Detroit Lions news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, the possibility of this trade is still speculative, but the signs point toward a potential shakeup in the NFL's defensive line landscape. If Heyward becomes available, the Lions need to be ready to pounce. They have the resources, the motivation, and the desire to add a proven leader who can make an immediate impact. It's the type of move that could not only bolster their defense, but also send a message across the league that Detroit is serious about contending for a Super Bowl, not just this year, but for the foreseeable future. And it's important to remember, Detroit's recent history shows a franchise that's not afraid to make bold moves. They've retooled their roster, invested in young talent, and brought in veteran leaders to guide the way. The addition of Heyward would be the next logical step in their evolution, an upgrade that could make all the difference in crucial moments, whether it's in the regular season or the playoffs. The Lions are on the cusp of something big, and a trade for Heyward could be that final piece that propels them over the top. So, fans, keep an eye on this situation. As it develops, we'll be here to bring you all the latest updates, analysis, and insights. The NFL offseason is always full of surprises, but this one could define the future of the Detroit Lions, defense, and their championship ambitions. Whether or not it materializes, one thing is clear. The Lions are positioning themselves to be a dominant force, and moves like this, if they happen, could be the catalyst for a new era of success in Detroit. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Detroit Lions. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Detroit Lions news. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay passionate, stay loud, and Go Lions!